Welcome back, everyone, to another remarkable journey into the world of gemstones. A journey where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the silent stones of the earth reveal voices you never imagined they could have. Tonight, we are exploring 10 mysterious stones that sing. Some roar like thunder, some whisper with hidden electricity, and one stands above them all, not only for its haunting voice, but also for the staggering price it commands in today's market. And here is the warning: if you miss this, you may overlook one of the most surprising investment opportunities of 2026. Imagine holding a stone in your hand that does more than sparkle. Imagine it vibrating, humming, or even singing to you. A sound so real it can shake your chest, calm your mind, or light a fire from its sparks. From deserts that boom like choirs, to cliffs that howl with the wind, to crystals transformed into bowls that resonate with the human soul, each of these 10 stones has a story that bends the line between geology, music, and mystery. If this is your first time joining us here on Gemstone Kingdom, welcome to the community. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the discoveries we uncover in every episode. And here's something special. If you feel that this could be the beginning of something new, leave a comment below saying, "I like this video." That way, I'll know you are walking alongside me on this journey of exploration. Stay until the very end, because the gemstone that holds the top spot may surprise you and perhaps even sit unknowingly in your own home or collection. And don't forget, if you're busy right now, save this video to your watch list. It is more than just a ranking. It is a fascinating journey into stones you've likely never heard of, but that may one day shape the way we think about sound, spirit, and even investment. So are you ready to discover the stones that sing? Let's begin our countdown from number 10 to number 1. And trust me, you'll want to be here when we reach the top. Number 10, Pyrite, fool's gold that sings, the firestone that fooled history. At first glance, it looks like pure gold, a gleaming cube pulled from the earth, shimmering under the sun. For centuries, hopeful miners believed they had struck fortune, only to realize they were deceived by a stone that mocked them. This is pyrite, better known as fool's gold. But beyond its trickery lies a secret far stranger. Pyrite is one of the few stones that can genuinely be said to sing with fire. That is why it opens our list at number 10 in the countdown of top 10 singing stones that shock science. Pyrite is scattered across the world. You'll find it in the Appalachian Mountains of the United States, deep in the legendary mines of Spain, spread through the rich deposits of Peru, and even adorning the sacred tombs of ancient Egypt. Each culture gave it a different role. The Inca polished it into ceremonial mirrors that reflected the sun like frozen rays of light. Medieval settlers carried it on journeys as a tool to strike sparks and survive harsh frontiers. And to the Egyptians, it was a symbol of eternal brilliance, worthy of the dead. Its beauty is undeniable. Pyrite shines with a brassy golden hue so convincing that it fooled generations into believing they had discovered real gold. Its crystals often form into perfect cubes, with sharp edges and smooth reflective faces that look as if they were carved by hand. In other cases, it grows into spiky spheres or clusters of jagged facets that resemble strange metallic sculptures, as though they were relics of a forgotten civilization. In jewelry, a polished pyrite cube mounted on a silver ring glitters with a deceptive fire, while a pendant made from a pyrite sphere scatters light like dozens of tiny sparks. It is both mysterious and alluring, a mineral that plays tricks on the eye and captivates the imagination. But what secures its place in this list is not its golden mask. It is its voice. When two pieces of pyrite are struck together, they produce a sharp crackling, like burning embers bursting in a fire pit. Strike harder, and the stone throws real sparks, singing in bursts of flame and sound. For early humans, this was not just a matter of geology. It was a matter of life and death. Pyrite became one of the first stones used to harness fire, but also in its own way, a musical instrument of nature. Archaeologists believe its fiery song echoed through prehistoric rituals, hunting camps, and the earliest myths of humankind. Imagine the awe of our ancestors as stone itself seemed to breathe with both light and sound. Pyrite earns its place at number 10 because it represents contradiction. It deceives the eye as false gold, surprises the ear with the sound of fire, and carries within it humanity's oldest connection to flame. It reminds us that the mineral world is never truly silent. It resonates, it sings, but only if we take the time to listen. If you are as surprised as we were to discover that fool's gold can actually sing, leave a comment below. Would you wear a pyrite ring, not for wealth, but just to hear it spark each time it struck? And share this story in gem and geology groups on Facebook or Reddit, where debates over Earth's strangest stones are already waiting to ignite. And now we leave you with this question. In 2026, which gemstone do you think could surpass even diamond? Not just in price, but in its power to astonish the world? Number 9. Basalt columns, the stone giants that howl in the wind. Imagine walking along a rugged coastline where the ocean crashes against cliffs carved into thousands of towering hexagonal pillars. They rise like a frozen army, dark and massive, their sharp edges stretching toward the sky. These are the basalt columns, natural wonders found in places like the Giant's Causeway of Northern Ireland and the Black Cliffs of Iceland. At first glance, they appear to be silent monuments. But when the wind begins to move, the silence breaks. The columns howl, creating eerie tones that echo like voices of giants. That haunting music secures their place at number 9 in our list of top 10 singing stones that shock science. Geologically, basalt is born in fire. When volcanic lava cools rapidly, it contracts and fractures into geometric shapes. The result is a breathtaking sight, fields of near-perfect hexagonal columns rising side by side, as if an ancient civilization had built them stone by stone. In Northern Ireland, legend has it that the warrior giant Fionn McCool built the causeway as a bridge to Scotland. Science explains it differently, but neither tale can capture the feeling of standing among them as the Atlantic wind whistles through the narrow gaps. The sound is deep, hollow, almost like the blast of distant horns. Some travelers describe it as the earth itself breathing. The colors of these columns only add to the illusion. In Iceland, they shimmer black and steel gray, cold and austere against the icy sky. In Ireland, their surfaces are tinted with green moss and sea spray, giving the appearance of ancient pipes in a cathedral organ. And when you touch them, the shapes feel almost engineered. Flat sides, sharp edges, natural architecture sculpted not by human hands, but by the forces of fire and time. But what makes them worthy of this countdown is not their form alone, but their sound. When the wind passes through the columns, it generates haunting tones that change with the wind's speed and direction. Some notes are sharp and high-pitched, like whistles. Others are low and rumbling, vibrating in the chest like a drum beat. Locals say the cliffs sing when storms approach, their voices carrying across the sea. In folklore, those voices were interpreted as the songs of giants who once walked the land, their music trapped in stone long after they had disappeared. To see the columns is to witness geology. To hear them is to witness mystery. This may be why so many myths surround these formations. They are not just landscapes, they are instruments, cathedrals of sound that remind us nature itself composes music far older than humanity. If you are amazed that mere stone can howl like a choir of giants, leave a comment below. Would you dare to walk among these pillars during a storm to hear their song? And share this story in your favorite Facebook or Reddit groups on geology and travel. These basalt giants are sure to spark conversation. And before we reveal the next stone, ask yourself this. If the earth can sing through wind and rock, what other hidden instruments might it still be keeping from us? Number 8. Dolomite cracks, the booming stone that roars from the earth. Deep inside the quarries and mountain passes, some stones do something unsettling. They do not remain quiet, as we expect from solid rock. Instead, when stress fractures split through them, they release a thunderous boom, like a cannon echoing through the earth. These are the mysterious Dolomite cracks, and their explosive voice secures them a place at number 8 in our countdown of top 10 singing stones that shock science. Dolomite is a carbonate mineral, usually found in massive mountain ranges, such as the Dolomites in northern Italy, which lend the stone its name. From the outside, dolomite looks fairly unremarkable. Its colors range from pale white to gray and light pink, and it often forms in blocks or layered beds. But within its seemingly calm structure lies tension. When sudden pressure is applied, especially during quarrying or natural shifts underground, dolomite can fracture violently. And when it does, the crack releases sounds so loud it has been compared to the blast of a gun. Travelers and miners describe these stones as if they were alive. Imagine standing in a silent valley only to hear the mountain roar without warning, a single booming note that seems to shake the air. It is a geological shockwave that lingers in memory. Some geologists suggest that trapped air pockets and sudden stress release are responsible for the sound. Others believe the very crystalline lattice of dolomite amplifies the fracture, like the body of a drum. Whatever the cause, the experience is unforgettable, a stone that can roar. The shape of dolomite often forms jagged cliffs, sheer rock faces, and angular blocks that fracture along clean lines. Under certain light, its pale surfaces glow with a ghostly hue, as if the mountain were made of bleached bone. The contrast between its quiet beauty and its violent voice makes it all the more haunting. Standing among dolomite peaks at dusk, with shadows stretching long across the valley, you begin to understand why locals once believed these booms were voices of spirits trapped in the stone. In jewelry, dolomite is rarely used compared to sparkling gems like quartz or sapphire. However, polished specimens reveal soft, pastel-colored bands, reminiscent of marble. A pendant carved from dolomite may look serene, yet it carries the legend of a stone that can thunder. To wear it is almost ironic, a gentle ornament born from a rock with the heart of a drum. Dolomite earns its place in this countdown because it challenges our sense of silence. Rocks are meant to be still, to endure in silence for millennia. Yet here is a mineral that speaks, and when it does, its voice is not a whisper, but a boom. It is the reminder that the earth is alive, its crust under constant pressure, and even the stones we trust to be eternal can roar back at us. If you are fascinated by the idea of a mountain that can shout, leave a comment below. Would you dare to stand near the cliffs of the Dolomites to hear their thunderous song? And share this story on Facebook or Reddit groups related to geology or natural wonders. This booming stone will spark debate among enthusiasts. And now we leave you with one question. If dolomite can roar like a cannon, what other stones might be waiting to reveal voices even louder? Number 7. Tourmaline and Beryl, the electric stones that whisper with power. Not all singing stones roar like cannons or howl with the wind. Some sing in a quieter, stranger way, through the invisible currents of electricity. Meet Tourmaline and Beryl, two gemstones whose hidden powers make them the electric voices of our countdown. At number 7, they remind us that sound is not always heard with the ear, but sometimes felt through the pulse of energy itself. Tourmaline is a gemstone admired for its rainbow of colors, from deep green and neon pink to a mesmerizing blue so rare it rivals sapphires. Beryl, its cousin, is the family of gems that gives us emerald and aquamarine, shimmering with rich green or ocean blue clarity. Both are prized in jewelry, their brilliance adorning crowns, necklaces, and rings for centuries. But beneath their beauty lies a scientific secret that astonished researchers. They are piezoelectric. When pressure is applied to their crystals, they generate an electric charge. And when electricity flows through them, they vibrate in response, turning stress into energy and energy into motion. Imagine holding a crystal that hums softly when squeezed, as though it were alive. That is the voice of piezoelectricity, a subtle vibration, a hidden song that has shaped modern technology. Today, this property of tourmaline and beryl helps power microphones, sonar equipment, sensors, and even medical devices. In other words, the same stones once worn by ancient queens now whisper in the circuits of modern machines. Geographically, these stones are found worldwide. Tourmaline is mined in Brazil, Afghanistan, and parts of Africa, with deposits yielding crystals the size of a man's arm. Beryl emerges from Colombia, Zambia, and Madagascar, where some of the most prized emeralds have been pulled from the earth. Each crystal carries not just beauty, but an ability to bridge two worlds, the visible shimmer of gemstones and the invisible hum of physics. In jewelry, Tourmaline's neon glow and Beryl's translucent depths make them treasures of any collection. A pendant of green tourmaline may sparkle by sight, but hidden within is the power to generate tiny currents when pressed. An emerald ring dazzles the eye, yet at its heart lies the structure of a natural energy converter. To wear them is to carry not just elegance, but a fragment of Earth's electric symphony. Tourmaline and Beryl earn their place at number 7 because they prove that sound is not only vibration in the air. It can be vibration in the crystal, resonance in the lattice, a whisper of electricity waiting to be translated into song. They are reminders that gemstones are not merely silent decorations, they are instruments of science, humming beneath the surface. If you are surprised that gems as beautiful as emerald or tourmaline can also create electricity, leave a comment below. Would you wear a jewel not only for its sparkle, but for the energy it carries inside? And share this story in gemology or science groups on Facebook or Reddit, where debates about beauty versus function will surely ignite. And here is our final question. As we enter 2026, could an electric gemstone become as valuable to technology as diamond once was to industry? Number 6. Sonorous sandstone, the screaming rock. That science couldn't silence. Not every stone sings with beauty, some scream. Across deserts and dry landscapes, there is a strange kind of sandstone that does not remain silent when rubbed or struck. Instead, it produces a harsh, screeching sound, a grating cry that makes the hair on your neck stand up. This is sonorous sandstone, the screeching rock, and its unnerving voice secures it the number 6 spot in our countdown of top 10 singing stones that shock science. At first glance, sandstone appears ordinary. Layers of compacted sand, worn smooth by time and weather. Its colors range from warm reds to soft yellows and earthy browns, forming cliffs and canyons across continents. But certain deposits, found in deserts from the American Southwest to parts of Asia, hide an acoustic surprise. When slabs of this sandstone are rubbed together, they release an abrasive squeal, sharp and metallic, as if the rock itself were protesting the touch. Some researchers refer to it as sonorous because the sound is not faint. It echoes, carrying across the dry air, an unexpected voice from stone. Geologists explain the phenomenon through the concepts of friction and resonance. The grains within the sandstone are tightly packed and cemented in a way that amplifies vibrations. When the surfaces grind against one another, the trapped air and fine particles act like tiny instruments, magnifying the sound into a shriek. It is the geology of dissonance, a reminder that even silence can fracture into noise under the right conditions. To stand among these rocks is to feel unsettled. Imagine walking through a canyon where the walls seem to cry out with every step, each echo a distorted violin string pulled too tight. In folklore, such sounds were often attributed to spirits trapped inside the stone, or warnings from the earth itself. Ancient travelers avoided camping near these cliffs, believing the screams were omens of danger. Yet in another light, sonorous sandstone is a marvel. It teaches us that sound is hidden everywhere, waiting for the right trigger. A block of sandstone may be carved into a building stone, strong and enduring, but it still carries this strange potential to become an unwilling instrument. Sculptors who cut it have described eerie squeals that follow each strike of the chisel, as if the rock resented being shaped. In jewelry, polished sandstone is uncommon, but when set into beads or pendants, it reveals patterns like ancient brushstrokes, delicate waves of red and gold. To wear it is to carry a piece of Earth's echo, a reminder that even the quietest stone may hide a scream. Sonorous sandstone earns its place in this list not because it soothes, but because it unsettles. It reminds us that Earth's voice is not always harmonious. Sometimes it is harsh, jarring, and impossible to ignore. It is the scream of geology itself, telling us that beauty and discomfort can exist in the same mineral. If you are intrigued by the idea of a rock that can actually shriek when touched, leave a comment below. Would you dare to test this sandstone with your own hands to hear it scream? And share this story on Facebook or Reddit groups related to geology and mysteries. This strange phenomenon will spark conversation. And here's the question we leave you with. If sandstone can cry out, what other stones might be hiding voices even more unsettling? Number 5. Singing dunes. The desert that sings like a choir. In the silence of the desert, where sand stretches endlessly beneath a burning sun, you would expect only stillness. But in certain places across the world, from Nevada in the United States to the Sahara of Africa and the dunes of Kazakhstan, the sand does something extraordinary. It sings. Entire hills of sand can suddenly release a deep, resonant hum that echoes like a choir of monks hidden beneath the surface. These are the singing dunes, and their haunting voice earns them the number 5 place in our countdown of top 10 singing stones that shock science. The sound of the dunes is unlike anything else in nature. When the surface sand begins to slide, triggered by wind, footsteps, or even the push of a hand, the grains vibrate against one another in perfect synchrony. The result is a powerful tone, a low booming note that can last for minutes, carrying across the desert like the call of an unseen instrument. Depending on the dune, the pitch can range from 100 to 300 hertz, deep enough to vibrate in your chest as you listen. Travelers describe it as standing inside a massive organ, played by the hand of the earth itself. Science has studied this phenomenon for decades. Researchers have discovered that only dunes composed of dehydrated, uniform grains of quartz-rich sand can sing. When the sand cascades down a slope, the grains rub and bounce against each other, and the collective vibration amplifies into an audible note. It is the physics of resonance, but on a scale so vast that the entire landscape becomes an instrument. The desert, often imagined as silent and lifeless, transforms into a stage for nature's most mysterious performance. The sight of a singing dune is mesmerizing. Under the blazing sun, the surface ripples like golden silk. With every step you take down the slope, the earth beneath your feet hums, as though you are awakening something ancient. Local legends have long tried to explain these voices. In parts of Asia, it was said that these were the songs of spirits imprisoned in the sand. In the Sahara, nomads believed the dunes carried the voices of their ancestors. Marco Polo himself recorded the booming sands during his travels, astonished by the desert's hidden music. In jewelry, sand may seem humble compared to gems like emerald or diamond. Yet when encased in glass pendants or worked into art, grains from a singing dune carry a secret weight, the memory of a desert that can sing. To wear such a talisman is to have proof that even the smallest particles of earth can join together to create a voice that defies silence. The singing dunes earn their place at number 5 because they blur the line between geology and music. They show us that sound is not only in the wind or the ocean, but in the very grains beneath our feet. They remind us that even in the most desolate landscapes, the earth can surprise us with a song. If you are amazed that dunes can form a choir, leave a comment below. Would you dare to slide down one of these dunes to hear its voice? Share this story in groups on Facebook or Reddit about geology and travel. This desert mystery will spark debate. And here's the question we leave with you. If sand can sing as a choir, what other landscapes might be waiting to reveal their music? Number 4, Phonolite, the rock that rings like a bell. Not every stone was named for its silence. Some were named for their voice. Across volcanic landscapes in Europe and Africa, a rare rock called phonolite exists, whose name originates from the Greek words phono, meaning sound, and lithos, meaning stone. Why? Because when struck, it rings like metal. It is literally the soundstone, and its ability to sing like a bell secures it the number 4 place in our countdown of top 10 singing stones that shock science. Phonolite forms in regions of ancient volcanic activity. It is usually gray or greenish in color, with a dense, fine-grained texture that appears unremarkable at first glance. But inside its crystalline structure lies a hidden instrument. When thin slabs of phonolite are struck, they emit clear, ringing tones, sharp and metallic, carrying farther than you would believe stone could carry. In some parts of Africa, these stones were used for centuries as natural gongs, played in ceremonies and communication across villages. In Mexico, similar stones were struck to accompany rituals, their bell-like voices echoing through the air like messages from the gods. To see phonolite in the field is to mistake it for ordinary rock. The real revelation comes when you tap it with another stone or a hammer. Instead of a dull thud, you hear a resonant note, almost as if the earth itself had forged a hidden bell. Imagine walking through a rocky hillside, picking up a slab, and suddenly realizing you are holding a piece of geology that can sing. For early cultures, this was nothing short of miraculous. No wonder entire legends grew around these rocks, which seemed alive with voices. The geometry of phonolite often allows it to fracture into large, flat plates, making it a perfect natural instrument. In some areas, entire cliffs of phonolite act like enormous xylophones, producing different pitches depending on where they are struck. Musicians and researchers today still experiment with phonolite to create haunting sounds. Its clear tones have even been compared to church bells, giving the rock an almost sacred resonance. In jewelry, phonolite is not common, but when polished, it reveals subtle bands and a silky sheen. Imagine a pendant carved from the very stone that once served as a natural gong, or earrings made of fragments that could still ring when tapped. To wear phonolite is to carry not just a stone, but a musical instrument hidden in plain sight. Phonolite earns its place in this countdown because it challenges our expectations. We think of rocks as lifeless, heavy, and silent. Yet here is a stone that sings with clarity, used by cultures across continents to call communities together, to mark ceremonies, and to remind us that sound can emerge from the most unlikely sources. If you are fascinated by the idea of a rock that can ring like a bell, leave a comment below. Would you keep a piece of phonolite at home to hear its note? And share this story with groups on Facebook or Reddit where geology and history collide. This singing stone will spark conversation. And here's our question for you. If a rock can sing like a bell, what other hidden instruments might lie buried beneath our feet, waiting to be discovered? Number 3. Ringing rocks. The mysterious field of rocks that ring like metal. In the quiet forests of Pennsylvania, there is a boulder field unlike any other on Earth. At first glance, it looks like a chaotic pile of dark rocks, scattered across 7 acres of land. But when struck with a hammer or even another stone, these boulders do something extraordinary. They ring. The sound is metallic, bell-like, sharp enough to echo through the trees. This strange place is known as the Ringing Rocks, and its haunting chorus secures the number 3 spot in our countdown of top 10 singing stones that shock science. Ringing Rocks Park, located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, has baffled locals and scientists alike for centuries. The rocks are mostly diabase, a volcanic basalt-like stone that cooled millions of years ago. Yet for reasons still not fully understood, many of these boulders can produce clear tones when struck, while others remain stubbornly silent. The difference is not always visible. To the naked eye, they look the same, dark, weathered, rough. But touch them with metal, and some reveal their secret, a resonant note, like a hidden bell trapped inside solid stone. Geologists have tried to explain the mystery. Some suggest that the rock's internal stress and high density create natural resonance chambers. Others believe that only when the stones remain in the boulder field, pressed against one another in a natural orchestra, do they retain their unique ability to ring. Curiously, if you remove a ringing rock from the field, it often falls silent, as though the music belongs not to the individual stone, but to the community of rocks working together. The phenomenon has fascinated visitors for generations. In the late 19th century, concerts were held at the site. Musicians brought hammers and played melodies on the stones, creating haunting symphonies of metallic sound echoing through the night air. Imagine standing there, surrounded by a forest, while an entire hillside of stone sings in harmony. It is both eerie and beautiful, a reminder that music is not only a human invention, but a natural possibility. Visually, the ringing rocks are not gems in the traditional sense. They are rugged, dark boulders, piled high as if tossed by giants. Yet in their simplicity lies their wonder. Their true beauty is revealed not by sight, but by sound. To wear one as jewelry would be to carry an enigma, a piece of stone that, under the right conditions, could still ring like a bell. The ringing rocks deserve their place at number 3 because they challenge our very definition of silence. Here, in a quiet forest clearing, the earth itself becomes an instrument. These boulders are not decoration, nor are they gemstones, but raw geology transformed into a symphony of beauty. If you are astonished that an entire field of rocks can ring like metal, leave a comment below. Would you travel to Pennsylvania to hear this natural orchestra with your own ears? And share this story on Facebook or Reddit groups about natural mysteries. The ringing rocks will spark endless debate. And here's the final question we leave you with. If one hidden valley can sing, how many other voices of the earth remain undiscovered? Number 2. Quartz, the crystal that keeps the world in tune. It sparkles in jewelry, it forms perfect prisms in caves, and it has been worshipped as a spiritual stone for thousands of years. But what if I told you that one crystal quietly keeps the entire modern world in rhythm? This is quartz, the crystal that hums with precision, and its hidden song secures it the number 2 spot in our countdown of top 10 singing stones that shock science. Quartz is one of the most abundant minerals on Earth. Found in nearly every continent, it ranges from the icy peaks of the Alps to the mines of Brazil and Madagascar. Its colors are as varied as the landscapes it inhabits: clear as glass, smoky gray, rose pink, or deep purple amethyst. Its natural geometry is unmistakable. 6-sided prisms ending in perfect pyramids, crystals so precise they look engineered rather than grown by nature. People across cultures have carved quartz into talismans, crowns, and ceremonial objects. But beyond its beauty lies the actual reason quartz sings. It is piezoelectric. When pressure is applied to quartz, it generates an electric charge. When electricity is sent through it, the crystal vibrates at an exact frequency. That vibration is steady, predictable, and unchanging. It is a rhythm so precise that modern technology has built its heartbeat upon it. The watches on our wrists, the computers on our desks, the satellites orbiting above, all rely on the hum of quartz crystals to keep time and maintain synchronization. The entire digital age would falter without the silent song of quartz. Imagine a crystal humming invisibly at 32,768 times per second. Too fast for us to hear, but perfect for dividing into seconds, minutes, and hours. Every tick of your watch, every digital timestamp you rely on, comes from this ancient mineral. In a sense, quartz is the unseen conductor of human civilization, ensuring that trains run on time, that computers communicate with one another, and that GPS guides us to our destinations. Everything depends on the subtle music of a crystal formed in the Earth's crust. Visually, quartz has always been celebrated. In jewelry, it may appear as a clear pendant, amplifying light like frozen water. Amethyst quartz glows with royal purple, once reserved for kings. Rose quartz carries a soft blush, worn as a symbol of love and compassion. But to wear quartz is also to have a fragment of the world's metronome. Every polished gem is a reminder that beauty and function coexist in one of nature's most straightforward yet most powerful stones. Quartz deserves its place at number 2 because it bridges the past and the future. It has been treasured as a gemstone since prehistory, yet it also powers the most advanced technologies of the 21st century. It is the crystal that turned geology into a global clock, the stone whose silent vibration keeps humanity in tune. If you are amazed that quartz not only dazzles the eye but also drives the modern world, leave a comment below. Would you trust your life to a stone that hums invisibly beneath your watch? And share this story on Facebook or Reddit groups dedicated to science and gemstones. This hidden song is sure to spark conversations. And here's our question for you. If quartz is the crystal that keeps the world in time, what stone might one day set the rhythm for the future? Number 1. Crystal singing bowls. The crystal bowls that sing to the human soul. For centuries, humanity has sought instruments that can capture the voice of nature itself. However, in modern times, we have taken Earth's crystals and shaped them into something extraordinary. Bowls that resonate with pure sound. These are the crystal singing bowls, crafted from quartz, and their ability to heal through sound secures them the number 1 spot in our countdown of top 10 singing stones that shocked science. At first glance, a singing bowl looks deceptively simple. A frosted white vessel, translucent under light, its surface smooth as ice. Yet when a mallet is drawn along its rim, the bowl begins to vibrate, releasing a tone that seems to hang in the air. The note is pure, unwavering, and rich with overtones. Listeners describe the sound not just as something they hear, but as something they feel deep in their chest, a vibration that seems to resonate with the body itself. Unlike the accidental voices of basalt cliffs or ringing rocks, these bowls are designed to sing, and they do so with breathtaking clarity. The secret lies in quartz. Ground from pure crystal infused at high temperatures, each bowl is tuned to a specific note that corresponds to a chakra or energy center in the body, according to healing traditions. When played in sequence, the bowls create harmonies that envelop a listener in waves of sound. Modern science has measured how these tones influence brainwave states, often shifting people into calm, meditative rhythms. Healers, yogis, and therapists now use singing bowls worldwide, convinced that quartz not only carries energy, but also possesses the ability to restore balance through vibration. Visually, the bowls are mesmerizing. Under candlelight or sunlight, their frosted surfaces glow softly, like halos of frozen light. Large bowls produce deep, rumbling tones that roll like thunder, while smaller bowls ring with higher, bell-like clarity. Imagine a room lined with them, each singing its own note, together forming a choir of crystal. To stand there is to be surrounded by an orchestra born entirely from stone. Unlike other singing stones, which reveal their voice only by chance, crystal bowls represent humanity's collaboration with geology. We did not wait for nature to sing to us. We shaped the earth into an instrument so precise that it can move hearts, calm minds, and even guide meditation practices. It is proof that stones do not only belong in jewelry cases or in the ground. They can live with us as music, as medicine, as bridges between matter and spirit. Crystal singing bowls earn their place at number one because they transform geology into art and vibration into healing. They are not just stones that sing, they are stones that sing for us. They remind us that the Earth's voice is not only in thunder or earthquakes, but in subtle harmonies we can invite into our daily lives. If you are amazed that quartz bowls can produce music powerful enough to soothe the human soul, leave a comment below. Would you sit in a room of singing bowls to feel their resonance yourself? And share this story on Facebook or Reddit groups about sound healing or gemstones. These voices of quartz will inspire wonder and debate alike. And here is our final question to close the journey. If the earth can already sing to us through crystal, what other secrets of sound and stone still lie hidden, waiting to be uncovered? Thank you for joining me on this journey through the top 10 singing stones that shock science. I hope their voices have surprised you as much as they have inspired me. Every stone carries a story, and tonight we uncovered some of the most mysterious songs hidden deep within the earth. If you enjoyed this exploration, please like the video and subscribe to Gemstone Kingdom. Your support is what motivates me to continue creating these in-depth documentaries and to share even more untold stories from the world of gemstones with you. And here's something exciting. In our next episode, we will step beyond singing stones and into the realm of mystical gemstones once believed to guide destiny itself. These are the stones guarded by ancient civilizations, treasured by rulers, and still whispered about today as symbols of power and fate. Trust me, you won't want to miss that adventure. So thank you once again for being part of this journey. Don't forget to leave a comment if one of these stones truly amazed you, and share this video with groups of friends who love mysteries and gemstones. Until we meet again in the next episode, keep your curiosity alive and remember, sometimes the earth sings if only we learn to listen. See you soon.